Ba-da-ba-bam-bam, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo! Woo! No
Well,
woo for Josh. No woo for Josh today. He's off. He's off sulking about how bad the Celebrini trade was for him. That's not true. He has such nice hair.
yeah, it's true.
Celebrini, not Josh. Actually, Josh got good hair too.
But Josh has good hair. Josh has good
Josh
hair.
does have good hair.
I was also gonna say we didn't even talk about who's gonna do the jingle while Josh is out. You just kind of went straight forward and you killed it.
You
So
know what? I started doing the countdown. I was practicing, as everyone knows, in
yeah.
Korea, trying to make it big in the
Seriously,
karaoke scene. But I just missed the podcast too much, and I can't sing well, so that's part of it.
I think you sound
Anyway,
fantastic. I've heard you sing.
thanks, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Without further ado, welcome to Banger Management, the fantasy hockey podcast with Jake, Blank, and Kevin. Blank is Josh, but Josh will be back in a few episodes.
Yeah,
Not many.
Josh's wife saw the bonus episode and she was really upset with his answer. So now he's punished and he couldn't record today.
That's
That's exactly what's happening.
I think he's shampooing Celebrini's hair, but that's just my guess.
Josh is doing crazy things to Celebrini right now because we can't talk about on the podcast.
It's because Josh is playing Kevin this week in our league of record, and Celebrini only has 2 games, so he's amping him up, trying to get him to get the most out of those 2 games. You know?
Yeah, if only Draisaitl and McDavid didn't combine for 10 games this week against me. It's actually crazy. So I think I've talked about the matchup that I have with Josh earlier this week, but yeah, we're playing each other in week 15. So as we speak, we have some of the games behind us already, and Josh is already complaining in the group chat, even though we both use a similar model for projections for the weekly. I keep tabs on how my guys are performing, how many games they play in the week, so I can estimate okay, I'm projected to win hits by this amount or lose points by this amount. And Josh is supposed to destroy me this week. McDavid and Draisaitl average 2 points per game. They both have 5-game weeks. It's a disaster for me, okay? And Josh, no shame, is in the group chat being oh my god, I can't believe Edvinson just got 8 blocks against me or whatever. I'm like, dude, you're gonna beat me by double-digit categories this week. Chill on the block stock. I think blocks and hits are the only categories I actually have a chance to win this week.
Yeah.
And has the audacity to complain about it after a Monday. He was complaining in the group chat. And then how Kemper had a bad game and Vladar had a bad game when they played Tampa and Dallas, 2 of the best teams in the league. He's oh no, my goalies played poorly. They had some of the toughest matchups. Anyways, Josh is just gonna complain the whole week, and then he's gonna beat me 10-3 this week, and I'll be I mean, I don't know. Anyways,
he's awfully silent when he has those big wins. So yeah. When there's no complaining going on, that's when you know things are scary. Today is our Week 15 news and updates and the famous Would You Rathers. This is going to be fun, just us two on this. Let's see if you can split the difference between both of us.
I feel between the two of us, I might have a chance of splitting the difference a little more. So hopefully I did a good job. But listen, I'll put it out there. I feel on the scale of 1 to 10 for the Would You Rathers today, I'm at a 7.5. I don't think it's going to be the best week, but trying to not recycle players. So let's see if today is going to go well. But we have a lot of news to cover as well.
Yes. And follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Subscribe on YouTube and give this video a thumbs up. All the socials are in the podcast description, and be sure to join the Discord community. Before we dive into our news stories, Kevin has some news, I suppose.
Yeah. Guys, if you're listening to this, it's a special episode because we are dropping the fact that we have a giveaway, our first giveaway on the podcast. And it's courtesy of DobberHockey. If you're listening to this podcast, honestly, you're probably very familiar with DobberHockey already because they've been having fantasy hockey resources for so many years now. Pillar of the community. They do exceptional work. Honestly, they're great. So if you don't already follow any kind of DobberHockey resources, please do so. It's not, I don't recommend a lot of fantasy hockey resources that are not banger management, but DobberHockey I would highly recommend. And they gave us 10 to 15 copies. We're going to see how many we actually finalize of their mid-season guide for 2026 to give away for free to the banker management community. So super hyped about that. And how we're going to run this giveaway is to be eligible to enter. All you got to do is be subscribed on our YouTube, join the Discord community. And after you listen to this, there will be a giveaway channel in the Discord community. All you have to do to be eligible is those two things. So follow on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. And while you're there, just leave a like and all that other stuff too, you know? But subscribe on YouTube, be in the Discord. And when you're in the Discord, go in the giveaway channel and type Dobber. You type Dobber, you're entered for the giveaway. We are running the giveaway until Sunday, January 18th. The entries close, we're going to say 7 p.m. So you have until then to enter. All you have to do is comment once, no multiple entries, just comment once, and you'll be entered. And then we're going to run the raffle randomizer at the end of that. And then Monday morning, we'll give away all the copies to all the winners. So super excited. If you have any questions, just DM us on the Discord or any social media channel. But super hyped about this. And thanks again for Dobber. Just want to make sure that you guys know that, like, even if you don't win, you know, the raffle, the Dobber midseason guide is on sale right now. So you can go check it out on their website. And it's a great resource, honestly. And I think everybody could benefit from it. So that's that. And listen, if you didn't catch all that, feel free to rewind and re-listen. But we're going to mention it on all the episodes leading up to the expiry date of the entries. So yeah.
Yeah, that's January 18th, 7 p.m. That's,
Yeah.
you have to
7 p.m.
submit the
Eastern
entry.
time.
Yes, important.
I know we got a lot of, we got some Australia folks in there. We got some Europe folks in there. So 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, January the 18th.
Yes.
2026.
Well said. Well said.
In case you're listening to this in 2027 or 2025, I don't know.
Unless somehow you're listening to this in the past.
If you invented a time machine to go back and enter the raffle, it's too late. It doesn't work like that.
That's some Back to the Future stuff right there. Okay, let's dive into our first news story of the day. The Columbus Blue Jackets fired Dean Evanson and hired Rick Bowness as head coach. Whoa, that's this to me feels like a very IRL type thing. I know that when new coaches come in, they can really reshape things. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, you get used to a new system, a new coach. He is a great coach. I know that Rick Bowness has like a really remarkable career, but every time I think of him, I just think of like his disappointed face when his teams lose in the playoffs. But Columbus needs to get to the playoffs, so you know, I mean, like, listen, it could be, but this is a great team, high-flying team, and they got a lot of great players. He's had success, you know, with the Jets, with the Stars, getting the best out of his talent, and that'll translate for fantasy. So I like this, and I think it's great for all their fantasy assets on the Blue Jackets.
I mean, listen, the biggest thing with Columbus right now has been like how they're choking leads in a third period. I think that's the story of their season. I think they're a playoff team. They have the caliber to be a high-flying offense, but they just leak goals and they can't hold a lead. That's pretty much the situation here. I think Rick Bowness has come in to kind of steady the ship. So in terms of fantasy impact, I think, listen, Columbus is already like a team that has some fantasy relevant assets. I think everybody gets a bump because the team should be better. And I think the biggest bump will probably come from, you know, the defense and the goaltending. If they're leaking less goals, that means they're winning more games. That means, you know, Jet Greaves, you know, gets more wins under his belt. Instead of winning 40% of the games, maybe he wins 50 to 60% of the games. Because I really do think that, you know, Columbus made a move now. It kind of surprising because they won their last game against Seattle. It was like a close-fought battle. We're like, okay, like maybe, you know, tides are turning, and then they fired the coach. So it was kind of like, okay, this must have been planned no matter the result, obviously. But I'm as a Jet Greaves owner, I'm really happy about this because he's been exceptional this year. He's been like a top 5 goalie in terms of like, you know, quality of play and saves above expected. It's just a team in front of him that hasn't really been playing up to their level. And if I have other Columbus assets, I'm happy about this. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, maybe Jet Greaves plays less games now. That's the main thing because he's been playing like every game, even the back-to-backs. Maybe he plays less games and they do more of a split. But I'm not reading into it until I see it with my own eyes. But overall, positive, I think, for Columbus.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I was joking when I said his disappointed face when his team's losing the playoffs, but all kidding aside, like, you know, he coached the Stars to the Stanley Cup final in 2020. That was the COVID year. He's, you know, brought his teams to the playoffs in most years. So this could be really, really fun for the Blue Jackets. And I agree with you. Maybe he'll get less games, but it means that they might be more quality starts. So I think net positive, You'll be happy as a Jet Greaves owner. All right, let's get to number 2. I'm actually sad Josh is not here to be like really
No.
passionate about this one. This is about one of his players, but Dougie Hamilton was scratched, but then put back in the lineup. Is there a trade incoming? He I think we're gonna save this for the hot topics to dive too much into it, which is on the next episode. But I know he would be pretty heated right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's big news, right? Dougie gets scratched, and we're all like, okay, like this. What does this mean? This is a big deal, right? Like he's one of their premier defensemen on the team. Like he's one of the biggest names. We know that he kind of waived the trade to San Jose in the offseason. Like they kind of had a trade deal ready for that, and he said, nope, I'm not going there. So now I think the situation is even more grave given the performances of New Jersey. So last I heard, Little Birdie told me that he's willing to maybe move his no. He's willing to go to a team that's on his no move clause, depending on the fit. But I really feel like this is just trade is going to happen. I think New Jersey needs cap flexibility. This is a way for that to happen, and also like they're ready to move on. Maybe get some new juice in the locker room and everything. But poor Dougie, I feel like he's kind of gotten thrown under the bus here. Like he hasn't been the same offensive guy. We've talked about, you've heard Josh complain on the podcast for the last 2 months on how bad Dougie Hamilton is for his fantasy team.
Yeah.
I do think that if he gets traded to another situation, like he could be actually like a top 10 defenseman. There's nothing stopping him from being that good again. I think if he gets traded to like, a Toronto Maple Leafs or a San Jose or, I'm trying to think of another destination, but like a team that really needs a power play one quarterback, he's going to be like hover around the top 10 guy because he still shoots a lot. He's not the best category coverage guy, but like he's a good power play quarterback. He'll get you points and shots. And from a defenseman, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You know what? Stay tuned for our Hot Topics episode. Well, I'll dive more into it, but I'm really on the same page as you for a lot of those.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Sean Monahan returned from injury and took back a spot on line 2, power play 1. As we know, Columbus is going through a lot of changes right now. Their units are kind of all over the place. What do you think about this?
I mean, I think Columbus, this was right before the firing and hiring of Rick Bowness. So I think the lines are in a blender right now. I think Monahan, with Bowness coming in, has the opportunity to have, more responsibility. And I think this could be a positive take for him. But I'm not trying to read into what the lines are going to look like and project. I think Bowness will have his own spin on things and make decisions for him. Like maybe Monahan comes back to line 1 after this. I think we'll have to wait and see how the practice lines go and everything like that. But I think it'll be an adjustment to see how everything shakes out. And then once things shake out, we can make an accurate assessment on like what we think the situation is and how to project these players. But for the moment, I feel like this is probably positive from Monahan. And the fact that he went back to power play 1, even though we saw guys like, Charlie Coyle and Sillinger be on power play 1, which is like should not be the case. I'm waiting to see how things shake out.
Yeah, and the role that he would play here would probably be more net front if he is to stay on the power play 1. Joe Pavelski played under Bowness when they went to the to the finals then in 2020. So to me, like, if you already have experience with a player like that, then I think that it could be sort of interesting to see how, Monahan can develop in this way.
Yep.
That being said, still for bangers, like, look, if the whole team gets better, he's a part of this team. He's gonna have a prominent role. There's no way Coyle or Gauntz are gonna take his line 2 center role. So I think that I like this. I just think that for the whole team, the coaching change is nice.
Yeah.
Then we got Kasperi Kapanen return from injury and has points in 3 straight games playing line 2, no power play. Yeah, he's been hot off the waiver wire in most Yahoo leagues recently.
Yeah. I mean, listen, what do you think? I don't put too much stock into this. If there's no power play 1, even power play 2, like I'm not putting too much stock in a guy after 3 games. But it's definitely worth mentioning, but I don't think it's super fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I'm more of an Oliver Kapanen man myself.
Yeah.
Who's been awesome.
I know you are.
He has been great. What a pickup for me in our league of record. Kasperi Kapanen's kind of just been doing this his whole career where he goes on stretches because I think there was a quote from one of his teams that he previously played on when one of like the best players was like, yeah, Kapanen's the fastest player in the league. So when you have the speed, and that's funny because he's playing with McDavid, right? But when you have the speed and you have the ability to be a very good player, but it just comes in waves. Like without the deployment, I'm not that encouraged by it. Nothing wrong with playing line 2 with Draisaitl, of course, but Draisaitl, I've spoken about this a bit. It's not like Crosby where it's like he's going to really make the best of like all the players around him. It doesn't always work like that. You have to be good in your own right to thrive on a line with McDavid or Draisaitl, so I'm not reading too much into this. If ever he gets power play 1, it's a different story, but it's impossible pretty much to do so, barring injury.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's only been a few games. Like, if he really cements himself, then I'll be interested. But right now, I'm just like, this is just another kind of quote unquote random name that gets to play in the top 6 that we always
Yeah.
like, oh, we're interested because he's playing with McDavid or Draisaitl. Never ends up working out. Like, they go through hot stretches, then they go really cold. And when they're cold, you don't really want them at all. So, and especially with
Yeah.
no power play, like, that already limits the ceiling of the value of the player. So, yeah, not
Yeah,
not too hot on this.
my advice for transaction would be sell if you can, because I wouldn't be surprised if you could get some sort of something out of it.
I
He's
mean, I
also
don't
been
think
really good
anybody's
for the
buying
Banger
Kasperi
Cats.
Kapanen.
No, but like as like a sweetener, like the buy low, sell highs, we always talk about adding a piece. I would try to add him as a piece if you can in a deep enough league.
Before this week, he was like 2% rostered. Now he's 19% rostered
That's
because like
it.
he just had a hot stretch. But I'm
Yeah.
if you can
Listen,
sell him. Like if you're in a
but it's
like Jiggy said, like the deepest of leagues. But
yeah.
I can't imagine there's a lot of leagues out there like that.
Yeah. I'm not interested in adding off waiver wire. Next, we got Brad Marchand is out with an injury. Anton Lundell is taking his spot on power play 1. So the Panthers are very interesting because they're playing with so many injuries yet still kind of getting it done. It's
Hmm.
amazing how deep this team is.
I know.
Wild. Yeah, it's disappointing because Marchand's been on a tear all year. We've recommended him as a sell high a few times, and like,
Yep.
that's when he's been playing beyond his averages. How serious the injury is? I mean, it seems like it's kind of day to day right now.
Yeah. Doesn't seem super dangerous for like his long term viability. But I will say like Marchand has been a sell high, and I think Matthew Tkachuk is about to come back as well. Like it feels like any game now he's about to return. This is a
Yeah,
huge bump for Lundell and his value. Like he's gone through stretches where he's been super valuable and other stretches where like you don't really want him on your team. So I think this is great for Lundell. He's exposed to higher quality players for longer periods of time throughout the game. Now he's getting power play 1 time. We'll have to see, like, does Lundell get bumped off as soon as Kachuk comes back? Or is it somebody else that gets bumped off? And then when Marchand comes back, like, how does that shake out? But I think overall, this is just like if you have Lundell or he's available, I'm more interested right now while he's on power play 1. Then when Marchand comes back and if he gets bumped off, I'll swap my, my positions there. But that's pretty
yeah,
much it. And hopefully Marchand's not out for too long because he's actually been really viable for fantasy, even though we do believe he's a sell high.
yeah. It's still like encouraging to see that he's got the banger cats this year, which is nice. I mean, he's just kind of been playing beyond what we think he's gonna do.
Mhm.
Uh, Obviously, it's tough now to sell him considering he's hurt.
Yeah.
But when he comes back, I still think they're gonna put him on the power play.
Yeah, you should be power play 1 when he's healthy.
Yeah. All right. Connor Bedard returned from injury and is back on line 1, power play 1, but now he's day to day with an illness. To me, there's not much to say. He's healthy as far as the injury goes, and when he's back,
Yeah.
he's back. But I've heard it's a pretty bad stomach bug going around the Chicago
Everybody's getting
Blackhawks. Like,
sick.
yeah, it's that kind of sucks. Burakovsky is someone on our waiver wire. Are you interested at all? Just because he was doing really well
Mhm.
with Bedard when they were playing on the same line, and Bertuzzi's just been fire all year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of yeah,
I mean, Bertuzzi had a stretch where he was basically droppable and people dropped him where we were like sell high, sell high, sell high, sell high while you can, and then people waited for him to go down to 0 before cutting him.
yeah,
When Bedard back, this whole team becomes viable in certain ways, right? Like they're playing with one of the best players in the NHL. Like this year was a true breakout. Like I think we talk about it in the offseason, like we mentioned him as a breakout candidate. We want to hold ourselves accountable, but we also want to, talk about the wins that we have. And I think, saying Bedard has a chance to be a true breakout candidate this year was a big win for us because up to this year, like he had not even gotten close to a point per game. So this year he was one of the best picks in fantasy. And now
yeah,
all of his wingers are widely available pretty much. And like you said, Burakovsky, and if you're in a deep league, like our league, we roster almost 300 players and he's still on the waivers in our league. So you have to be in a similar league for him to be viable. He was really hot before the injury, so if he starts heating up, I'll be interested again. But right now, I'm not trying to be proactive about it if I have better players.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant that Bertuzzi was super good when Bedard was there. Then you're right, he
Yeah.
went through quite a cold stretch. But Burakovsky was like less of a sure thing during that
Yeah.
period. But the fact that they were able to, like, I mean, this is the best they've both played in years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Bedard, like, I'm interested in, if you have the space, like I mean, full disclosure, thought about picking up Burakovsky.
For
Maybe I
sure.
will over the next few days.
Oh, we're gonna have to
So
compete with the Fab now.
that's it. I barely have any left. But
Yeah, same. Me and Jakey have the least Fab in our league. We just keep spending money on players that nobody else wants.
yeah, that's it.
I mean,
I always like, you know what? No, this time I'm not spending any.
I was like, Jakey spent $20 on Shelovs this year, like throughout multiple occurrences.
Yeah. now I have Skinner, who I drafted, who's now on the same team she loves. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. But when it's used wisely, it could really work out. So I think I also spent 4 on Wallstedt, who gave me many, many good weeks and is now giving me less good weeks. But that's
should have sold high when you could.
I should have sold high. Hopefully he's listening. He's like, nah, man, I'm taking that personally, and now I'm just gonna start doing super well again. So Jesper, do your thing. Okay. Jacob Chikrin is day-to-day with an illness. John Carlson taking his spot on power play 1.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty much a straight swap. When he comes back, he probably gets that power play 1 back. There were some inklings on some practice reports I saw that, like, Chikrin was skating, but he wasn't skating on the power play. So people were like, oh, like, did John Carlson bump him off power play 1? I think it's just he's not ready to play in the game, so they don't want to, usually when the power play lines are practicing, they want the guys that are, like, almost certain to play during the game. So I think it just goes to show that, like, he's not ready to come back. He's still hurt, like, or sick, sorry. Yeah. And I expect as soon as Chikrin's healthy, like, he just bumps off Carlson and same old.
Yeah, I think the other part of this is that they got Ethan Frank currently playing power play 1 there. So I would say, yeah, I mean, when he has his games, he has his games. Like, it's I was actually at the game where I think he got a hat trick or scored he got 4 points, I believe. That's crazy. Yeah, they beat Montreal they destroyed them, and Frank, I think, was the first star because he was just on an absolute tear. So but he, to me, is the obvious when Chikrin's back, he's getting bumped off situation. Yeah. So I don't know why they don't put Protas there.
Don't forget, Tom Wilson is still missing as well. So
yes,
he's also day to day, and I feel like at any moment, as soon as he comes back, he's bumping off somebody from that power play as well. So
yeah, I mean, they got Leonard Strome, Frank Ovechkin, Carlson there right now. I think Frank and Carlson are the ones that are going to go off for Chikrin and Wilson when everyone's healthy.
Yeah, most likely.
All right, then we got JT Miller returned from injury and bumped off. Not Laferriere off power play 1.
The lesser laugh.
The lesser laugh. Still crazy to think about, but anyways. All right. So this is interesting. Also sad Josh is not here to trash JT. But it's
you mean his favorite player?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, obviously, like, a few days ago while he was hurt, you could have bought him even lower, but to me, I think that this is like a time that I would still be interested because the Rangers are in shambles right now and they're really not supposed to be bad. I mean, we'll probably get into this at some point, but perhaps next episode talking about Panarin. He may.
Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say, like, these guys, the Rangers have been bad, but their fantasy assets have kind of been delivering. Like, Panarin's at almost 2 points per game over the last month. Like, he's been absolutely insane. Zibanejad's been insane. JT just came back from injury, and he's had, like, a couple good games. But just the performances on the ice are not going well. They're leaking goals. I feel like you really see the impact that Shesterkin has had on this team while he was healthy. And, I mean, that's the next point, so we can just talk about it now as well. Like, Shesterkin is still week to week, and Jonathan Quick is the starter in his absence, and Quick has not been great. Like, he's been, if you're the Shesterkin owner and you picked up Quick and you're hoping that you were getting similar results, it's not the case at all. I think the Rangers are just an average team right now when they're leaking goals, and Quick is not the same guy. Like, he can only do so much, right? Like, if you're put in bad situations, you're put in bad situations. From the games that I've seen, he's actually looked like he plays well. It's just like the team's not doing him any favors in front of him. So it's a tough situation, but JT being back, I feel like it just goes back to status quo on the power play. Like, Laff has been a severe disappointment this year. Like, we're holding ourselves accountable. We thought that he would be a breakout power forward candidate, right? Like, no more Kreider. He was the guy that could step up, and they've even preferred, like, Will Cooley at times over him. So it just goes to show, like, the fall off is kind of here, and I feel like Loft's future in New York is just not cemented at all, even though they just paid him.
Yeah.
And like you said, Panarin too. We don't know what's happening there with the contract.
Yeah. And I mean, Fox is this in the next point, but
Fox is
Fox is
still out,
on
yeah.
LTIR. So then you got Gavrikov in his place on power play one. He's not a
Yeah.
power play one defenseman. He's a good player, but he's not. He should not be quarterback in this power play. So, I mean, to me, I still believe that JT could be better than he has been this year. So, I mean, do you think you could buy still, or is the owner just like, I held him this long, I'm gonna hold until?
I'd try to buy, because if you're in a bangers league specifically, especially one with face-offs, like bangers league, I'm interested. Face-off leagues, I'm even more interested because he gets face-off wins from the right wing position. But he has some good category coverage to him, and I think the points are going to be there more than they were earlier in the season when he was like even more massive buy low.
Yeah,
It's just you have to temper your expectations when with
temper, right?
I don't know. I say both now. I forget which one. I got corrected, and now I forget which one I'm supposed to say. But temper your expectations with the Rangers in general. I feel like the studs are always going to be producing, but the JT is like, I feel like one tier slightly below, but he has so much value in terms of like his category coverage. And the
Yeah.
Rangers have an exceptional playoff schedule if your playoff weeks are weeks 21 to 23. So always targeting those guys at the right price. And yeah, I mean, listen, anybody on power play one here, I'm interested in. So
In the 3 games he's played since he got back, he's done exceptionally well in the Banger Cats. He's got 2 points in those 3 games, but the Rangers have lost 5-2, 10-2, and 4-2. So that is bad. That's that is rough. So I mean, I don't know. I still think JT's a buy. I'd love to have him on my team. I'm not paying first round price for him, but if you can somehow buy low, it's it's a great opportunity. Evgeni Malkin returned from injury and bumped Anthony Mantha from power play 1.
Yep. Not surprising at all. I feel like this was kind of written in the stars as soon as we recommended Mantha a few weeks ago when Malkin was first hurt, and we knew he was week to week, but we always knew that as soon as Malkin was healthy, he was just going to slot back on the power play 1. I don't know if we're talking about this. Well, might as well. Josh mentioned it later, but tied with Pittsburgh, Erik Karlsson was put on IR. I mean, earlier today as we record this. So I think that that was a surprise. I'm an Erik Karlsson owner. I don't know what happened there. The nature of the injury is still ambiguous, but he's missing at least multiple weeks. And Malkin back on power play 1 is great for his value. We still think that Malkin is not a guy that you want on your team long term because he's just not the same guy that he was. We've seen him be like really good. We've seen him really, really bad. If you can trade him at like the really good value for somebody that's more consistent, would love to do that. For Erik Karlsson, you pick up Christopher Letang. I think that's the move here. Letang has been on the ice in the NHL. He hasn't had his best season. He's been kind of like a average to below average defenseman. And for fantasy, he's been kind of like a streamer guy on certain weeks because he doesn't have power play 1. But now that he has power play 1, he's a better banger category guy than Karlsson. So maybe you're getting a little bit of both worlds, where a guy that will get you a little bit more hits and blocks and shots, not shots, but hits and blocks, and some power play 1 upside. But yeah, I'm a Karlsson owner. I'm planning on picking up Letang as a straight swap, and then when Karlsson's back, I'm just going to drop for Letang. So we'll see.
Oh, you're gonna have to compete against me with Fab.
Okay.
No, it actually is a fantastic.
To my name.
It's a fantastic pickup, though. All kidding aside,
so.
like he's been really like reliable for blocks this year, and in Pittsburgh's heyday, he was their power play 1 guy. Sure, he doesn't have
way
like
older now.
Yeah, and we're not expecting that, to be a resurgence, but he can play with these guys and do well. So
yeah,
I would definitely pick him up.
Yeah.
Joel Eriksson Ek is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Ryan Hartman has taken his spot on power play 1. A lot of either came back from injury, bumped off power play 1, or injured new guy on power play 1. That seems to be the theme of this week's news episode.
Everybody's banged up, but yeah, Joel Eriksson Ek, Jeek, if you will. He day to day. So listen, I'm not expecting a really long absence here, but Hartman in your deeper leagues, if he's power play 1, he's worth a look. He's had stretches of good production in the past when he's playing in the top 6 and when he's on power play 1, because you're just exposed to some top quality talent there. So if you have Eriksson Ek and you're looking for like a straight swap replacement, I would pick up Hartman, and then as soon as Eriksson Ek is back, you just cut him and get back your guy. Because Eriksson is still one of the best banger pure Cs out there. He has had stretches of good and bad, but I think I would love to have him on my roster. So if you have him, don't fret too much.
Yeah, he's the only center on this team for years that's been a reliable own.
Yeah,
right. Like Hartman, it comes and goes. Yurov, you'd think would be amazing because he's playing with
he's still young.
Kaprizov. Yeah, well, yeah, like he's got a lot of time, but
Yeah.
Anyway, it seems like Hartman's the guy to replace him in the interim. Seth Jarvis returned from injury and bumped Jackson Blake off power play 1.
Oh,
Not to
no.
mention the fact that Jarvis has been crazy for bangers since he's gone back, like came back, like the best by far that he's done all year. He's played a few games and it's 4-2, 4-2 hits, and then 6-3-1-5 shots, and a shorty in that period. He's been a monster. So, I mean, I think you saw his quote with Team Canada with the bleep sandwich or something.
Yeah.
So I really think that he took it extremely personally, and now he's just bawling out.
Yep. I mean, I don't expect him to average like 3 hits a game for the rest of the season, but we see this sometimes when guys are out of the lineup and they come back with a vengeance. But he's been a guy that's like had some shots and hits to him the whole year. Like he's a 1.5 kind of hits-ish, like one slightly over 1, which is not nothing if you're playing in a categories league. And then he gets like between 2 to 3 shots, which is really great. And Jarvis is just a phenomenal player. He might arguably be the best player on this Carolina Hurricanes team. Like I know that's a hot take, because I know a lot of people love Sebastian Aho, but Jarvis is my boy. And poor Jackson Blake, if you held him or streamed him while he had power play 1, that reign is over, and I don't feel bad about cutting him at this point.
No, I had to cut him a few weeks back because it was just tough, and that was even like before the Jarvis injury. It's like he'll have like a nice game and then get picked up in a bunch of leagues, and then like you go to you see he's one of the most added players, and then you get a notification if you own him like dropped in 500 leagues the next day. I'm like, all right.
They also had a week where they had like 5 games, so a lot of people picked up like Carolina Hurricanes players, and he was just one of those guys.
Yeah. But I'm excited. Hopefully Jarvis keeps up the double-double over there.
Yep.
Jason Zucker, another one of my players, returned from injury and bumped Zach Benson off power play 1.
Not surprising, but we know Zucker's almost like a power play merchant. Like we've talked about him on the podcast before. Like he's a little bit inconsistent, especially this year compared to last year. But you'll get games where he has like 2 points. They're both power play points, 4 shots a hit, and you'll get games where he has straight zeros, and you kind of don't know what to expect. But on the average, it ends up being like pretty good. So in deeper leagues, I really like Jason Zucker as a pick because he's one of those guys that's like on power play 1 for like average power play, but one of those guys that is widely available and you're getting power play exposure. And Zach Benson, I feel like he's had his chance early in the season. He was really successful. Like when he first came back from injury to start the year, I think he had like points and like he was a point per game for like a month or like 2-3 weeks, and then he got hurt again and has not been the same. So I don't think he's valuable at all anymore, but Zucker I like.
Yep. Nice. Is that a Borat reference?
I like. Don't copyright us. Borat, please.
We're the first ones to ever imitate Borat. Very nice. All right.
Very nice.
Troy Terry, day-to-day with an upper body injury. He had already been bumped off power play 1 before the injury.
Yeah, I mean, Anaheim was kind of like doing things with their lines. Like we saw even Gauthier have time on power play 2. Like they gone through a really rough stretch. We talked about them on our Hot Topics episode recently, where we were just like, what do we think about Anaheim? Like, are they the team that they were earlier in the season, or are they the team that they are now? The answer is always somewhere in the middle. So I don't think they're gonna hit the ceilings of before, but I feel like they are gonna try to turn it around in the near future. And Troy Terry coming back definitely helps his team. I think he's a top 6 player on this team and power play 1, so I feel like that's where he ends up. As we record this, there's a game tonight, so you guys will be hearing this the following morning, and he's a game time decision, so we'll see if he ends up playing. But as you hear this, he might be ready for the next game, right? So not worried about that. Stash him on IR plus, and then if he ends up playing, you could cut somebody to activate him. If you need help to see who you're going to cut to activate him, ask us in the Discord. Always happy to answer those questions. But yeah, Troy Terry, also Josh highlighted as like a major buy low candidate because he's a guy that has like some shot volume, some points upside. Leo Carlson too is massive buy low. We talked about it before. Like he's not going to be the best player in fantasy like he was for like feels like a month earlier this season, but still a valuable center. So
Yeah, they've been a bleep sandwich as of late. Probably
yeah,
the
they've been bad.
the same bleep sandwich that Seth Jarvis was referring to.
Yes.
Like 1-8-1 over their last 10 before the game tonight.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, real not good over there.
Real not
And
good is right.
yeah, real not good. Okay, Anze Kopitar is on IR with a lower body injury. Alex Laferriere, the superior laugh,
Mhm.
is line 1C while he's out. Unexpected. Has he played? I don't think he's usually a yeah, I don't think he's usually a center.
Nope.
That's kind
But
of interesting.
they've been using him there, and that one episode you missed earlier, JK, like Josh and I really went in on this, but like he's been like a double triple, so like 3 shots, 3 hits recently, and getting some face-off wins too. Like his category coverage has actually been, for some reason, super under the radar, it feels like, but he's
Yeah.
getting massive deployment right now, so I'm really interested in Laferriere, and I have him in one league that I play with other hockey fantasy experts, and I've been holding him, like, so I think he's very valuable, while especially while Kopitar is out, because he's getting to play with better players. The Kings obviously are a team that does not score many goals, and they have trouble scoring goals. But when somebody with this deployment and exposure to the power play, like it's a good situation, and I'm interested in Laferriere, especially if you're in a bangers league. Like we obviously banger management, we prefer bangers leagues, but we try to give you guys information for points leagues and every kind of league. But for bangers leagues, he's been insane. He's probably rostered, but if he's not, take a look at your waiver wire.
Yeah, these stats are like Achari from 4 years ago vibes.
I know. But
Like,
with like top 6 deployment.
with top 6 deployment and like better shots, I mean,
Yeah.
this is actually a banger's dream, at least for the time being. Because
Mhm.
and the most impressive thing to me is that he's able to keep this up with the faceoffs too. And
Yep.
I say that because like when you're playing winger, which is what he's been playing his whole NHL career, you're used to a certain style of play, and to be able to keep up the banger cats while also playing center, it's really encouraging for his yeah, in banger leagues. That's awesome.
He might get center
Okay.
eligibility. Like that would be really cool for him.
Yeah, I mean, like the golden ticket is to have the face-offs from the winger, so he's already got
Yep.
that. But yeah, I mean, just to be able to slot him in at center too would be nice. Thatcher Demko on IR with a lower body injury. Kevin Lankinen is the starter in his absence. It doesn't really matter who plays because Vancouver sucks. No offense, they are really not good, and it just feels like, I mean, yeah, if they, I almost feel like one thing I just kind of want to take from this is we spoke about Kiefer Sherwood as a sell high on our recent buy low sell high episode. Do you think if you're a team that you have like a lot of negotiating power with them, you know what I mean? It's like or sorry, do you think they have a lot of negotiating power with you? It's like, nah, I only want a first round pick. It's like, all right, well, enjoy doing whatever you guys are doing. It's just horrible. Like they've been really bad.
It's tough to be a Vancouver fan right now. Honestly, if we have any Vancouver fans listening to this, I'm really sorry. I feel like we've been there as a Habs
Big time.
Habs fans, but in recent years, like we knew when the new regime has been kind of very optimistic. Even when we were bad, we felt like we were taking strides forward. I feel like Vancouver is just like they're always in that middle ground where they never commit to the rebuild, and they're never like competing. They're always in that middle ground, but like on the lower end of it. So it's just been really bad. In terms of this, we can also throw in the Sherwood injury in there as well, because I think he's just kind of like, we're gonna trade you, so we don't want you to be on the ice. So the bad timing with my sell high recommendation, but if you can still sell him, absolutely try to. I think now is the time. Like your window for doing that is probably closing as we speak. And Demko, I mean, the best sell high we might have had this season was when I mentioned Demko, I think a month ago, when he just came back from a previous injury, had played like 4 or 5 games, and was like one of the best goalies in the league. And if you were able to sell him right after we made that episode where we said like get him off your roster ASAP, you're probably really happy right now. If that didn't happen and you're still holding the bag, they said that they might shut him down for the year. Like there's a potential possibility that he doesn't play another game this season, which would be devastating once again for Demko owners and just the Canucks in general. I feel like this guy, his career is completely like went off the rails due to injury. And
Yep.
what's their incentive to play him right now? Like they just want a better pick. So why would they rush their guy that's already a little bit hurt? Just rehab for the season, let us get a better pick, and then next year we come back and try again. So if you need a starter, I think Lankinen is a guy that you can expect a lot of volume from, but like, is the quality going to be there? No, it's completely matchup dependent in my opinion. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's I mean, even that, like, they can lose to anybody.
yeah,
So it's tough. And Lankinen has been serviceable as a starter, but they're not the same team as they were
no,
last year. Like, they got rid of Quinn Hughes and JT Miller. Those are two like, I know it was a
yeah,
tumultuous locker room situation, but still, I mean, it's tough to even stream. All right. On to some good news. Alexi
yeah,
Protas back from injury. Jakey rejoices. Yes, I
yeah.
do.
The best news you've heard all day.
He is the man. He is. I mean, I don't want to. I think Hagel on the scale of who's more, snubbed as not getting power play one. Like, I think Hagel's higher on that list. But like, Protas is good, man. Like, can we finally admit that he's a good player? Yes, he's had straight zeros. Well, not straight zeros. He's had a few shots since he's gotten back from injury. But before that, he was on an absolute tear. So
he'll go through stretches, but at the end of the day, he's a 0.75 points per game player with 2 shots and nothing else. And if you want that on your roster, congrats. If you don't, then you probably have a better player on your roster.
I am still so excited to see who ends the season with more points between him and Dorofeyev. I am just like,
I think Dorofeyev,
right now,
Dorofeyev will get infinite % more power play points. He's been nuts. I don't know if you've seen, but he's also susceptible to getting like line 4 deployment at random points because the coach is special. But whenever he's in the top 6 and on power play 1, which is always the case for the power play 1, he's just like mental.
Yeah, just saying. Right now, Dorofeyev has 33 points and Protas has 31, so it's pretty darn close.
How many power play points does Dorofeyev have?
That's 19 to 1. Yeah. Just saying. But that was not the beer bet. So
no, it wasn't.
I could beer bet you that Dorofeyev has more power play points. But
I'll take that.
That's fair. All right. William Nylander returned from injury and bumped John Tavares off power play 1. I think they should probably both be there. That's just me.
Yes.
But they had a pretty insane win last night. So
and the Matthews goal was pretty nuts for the toe drag and everything. Like that was nice to see as a new Matthews owner, right, Jakey?
Yes, it was. And it's like honestly, like, I hate to do this. But like, well, first of all, I just want to also, just before I get into my personal vendetta situation, because I did trade Celebrini for Matthews, and that's been a little bit tough. There was a little more to the trade. I also got Zetterlund, and I gave Holloway. But anyway, so the fact that I think I heard the announcer say that going into the second period, Colorado didn't have a regulation loss the entire season, and the fact that the Leafs were able to win. That is something. Like, that's like a big accomplishment for a team
win.
Yeah, and for a team that like has been counted out all year. I mean, obviously they had a lot to figure out with Marner, but even past that, like, people were just trashing on them like crazy. I'm really kind of excited to see. Like, I still had them out of the playoffs from the beginning of the season, and I still don't think they're by any means a sure thing to make it this year. But even at that, I like it better because they'll be battling till the very end. So, back to my thing. I traded away Celebrini, so every day, like halfway through the game, I'm looking. I'm like, all right, Celebrini's got no points. This is good. I'm feeling good. And then he ends the game with 3 points, 5 shots, and at least like 10 faceoffs. So like, what have I done? So last game Celebrini played, he didn't get a point, and Matthews just got 2 last night. Had a really good game, a lot of faceoffs. So he got a hit, decent. Like, he got 2 shots, I think, but still, I was so happy. It was a nice goal too. So yeah, that was like a nice sigh of relief. Temporary sigh, unfortunately, but yeah.
You got to take your wins when you can, when you traded away Celebrini. But yeah, I mean, all this also, like, circling back to the power play. John Tavares getting bumped off power play 1. It's a pretty big deal for John Tavares' value. Do I think this is going to stick? Absolutely not. I think their best power play is a power play with John Tavares on power play 1. It's just they're kind of mixing things up right now. Nylander, though, really hot when he came back. He was a massive buy low earlier. Like, we highlighted him several times. We said, like, guys, listen, if you have a opportunity to buy like a second round value player for way cheaper. He was awful for so long. He comes back, he's played 2 games, he has 5 points. So he's kind of been on fire. And if you bought low, you're really happy. The turnaround may be upon us. And for Tavares, if you're holding, don't try to sell him on pennies for the dollar right now when somebody's telling you like, oh, he's on PP2, let me buy him. Just hold, and I think he gets back to PP1 in the near future. So, and Toronto, gun to my head, my life is on the line. I'm not betting for them. I'm not betting on them making the playoffs. But listen, they're gonna try. They're a team that they can't tank. It would not be acceptable in this organization, even if they don't make the playoffs. I think almost everybody's getting fired. That would be a huge L. So listen, not impossible, but if they do make the playoffs, maybe I won't be here next year. Taking my metaphor to the extreme.
In other words, he doesn't think Toronto's going to make the playoffs. You don't have to put that much on the line. Like, it's cool.
No, you're forcing me. I'm going to be homeless and on the street.
No, you can just simply say what you think's going to happen, and it's all good.
It wouldn't be the same.
Oh man, I just also want to add to this that one of the reasons for their success as a team, I mean, like Nylander coming back, the fact is like he's been also pretty wishy-washy all year, so hopefully that he can be decent for the Leafs. And we're saying this as Habs fans, so
yep,
we're just saying like this is committed to the fantasy perspective on this, but they've got some pretty good depth pieces, and like, you know, Cowan's been pretty decent and Robertson's been pretty good. I wouldn't say I love them for fantasy by any means, but like I picked up Robertson and unfortunately got hurt, but he was actually like, you know, almost a point per game and decent shots hit. So keep an eye on that, because when a team's not scoring, things are not going to really look good for, you know, the secondary players for fantasy. But now that the Leafs have stepped it up, like, you know, I would say watch list Robertson when he comes back. You know, maybe you'll pick him up. And Cowan's actually been pretty solid. So just saying, keep an eye on those names.
Yep.
Shea Theodore returned from injury. Still no power play one, though.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the least impactful news, because we're like, you know, Theodore was drafted as a guy to be on the Vegas power play, which is a massive power play to be on. But it felt like after like a few weeks into the season, he got bumped off and never got it back besides injury. So now he's healthy. If he's on your waiver wire, I'm not super interested unless he's getting that power play one deployment, which is not the case. So you monitor the situation. If he ever gets it, we'll mention it here on the podcast or the Discord. But until then, like, he's not a guy that I want on my roster.
Yeah, I mean, Marner has had years of playing, you know, very good defense as a forward, and he's the one. Like, I know that, you know, when you play a power play there, you want offense, but you also need to make sure that if something goes wrong, like, you have a guy chasing back and able to play defense, and Marner is able to do that. He has done it in the past, so I'm not surprised that if they keep rolling with this.
Yep.
The 5 forwards. All right. Then we have Carter Hart is week to week with a lower body injury. Akira Schmid is the starter until he or Hill returns. Until Hart or Hill returns, to clarify. I mean, it was even like he wasn't that good, Hart, before the injury. Do you think that if Schmid does super well, which I don't think he will, but do you think if he does, that he can actually cement himself as the starter? Because I feel like none of these guys are. Hill has the best chance to be their guy, given the fact that Hart kind of hasn't been really good with the opportunity he's had. Do you think that there's a chance, though, that Schmid can even just solidify himself as the starter? Is this an opportunity for that?
I mean, for me, I think Hill is the starter. And as we record this, like, they said that Hill may play next week.
Yeah,
so I think Hill is like literally on the cusp of returning. And if he's on your waiver wire, like he is in a lot of leagues, I'm very interested in picking up, because I think he's significantly better than both Schmid and Hart, and would be the main goalie on a Vegas team that is a Stanley Cup contender. So that means you're going to be getting a lot of wins. Maybe the quality won't be like exceptional, but he's an above average goalie in terms of like quality stats. So if he's on your waiver wire, really interested in that. If he's, you know, on a team that's in the bottom of the standings, I'd be interested to buy low, like right now, right before, because Vegas is not going to give you a big heads up on like when he's coming back. It'll be like, I even saw this news in passing earlier today. Like I was, you know, scrolling on Twitter for my hockey news, you know, keeping up to date on everything. And I saw like, they said like, oh, he might back up in a few games or something, or like next game. So, okay, if he's going to back up, that means he's really close to starting. So Is it a full starter's workload when he's healthy? I don't know, but until that moment, I'll have Schmid as a starter, and very interested in having him on my roster to be the starter for Vegas. And I think you can get decent quality from him. Hart just does not seem that like that's the guy for them. And even when Hill is back and then Hart is healthy, like who's going to be the backup between him and Schmid? I think right now Schmid has the edge, but like who knows?
Yeah. So there's a chance you're saying that Hart would come back before Hill comes back.
No, I think from what my understanding is an injury timelines, I think Hill is going to come back before Hart. So that
Okay.
way, when Hill comes back, Schmid will be the backup, and then when Hart is healthy, who's the backup? Is it Schmid or is it Hart? I think honestly, it's so ambiguous. I don't even want to put my stamp of approval on either of them. But I think
Yeah.
the main thing is that Hill's going to be the main guy, like the 1A at least, and probably start like 55 to 60% of the games. And then at least, and then we'll see from there. But Hill has been kind of squishy as well. So am I banking on his health for the rest of the year? I don't know. Even this injury was way more significant and came out of nowhere. So
Yeah. I think Hill's the only one that you kind of want to own, basically.
yeah, at this point, yeah, which is crazy because Vegas is such a good team.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we got Simon Nemec returned from injury, bumped Luke Hughes off power play 1, but then he got scratched.
Yep.
So this is just weird. I mean, I think that Dougie's probably the first defenseman on the way out. That's who they would want to trade. But Nemec could actually be a really good player, like for the NHL. I don't know if he hasn't cemented himself as an amazing offensive defenseman or defensive defenseman yet, but there's a lot of promise with him. So it's tough. I mean, like in a dynasty league, it's great. In a redraft league, I have no interest in owning him.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking redraft right now, and for this year, like in most leagues, Nemec is not rosterable, and the fact
Yeah,
that like he got power play 1 for like a game and then got scratched. I looked at the coach, and the coach said that they really like Kovacevic came back, and they really liked his play, so they wanted him in the lineup. That's kind of why Dougie got scratched, and then they brought Dougie back, and then Nemec got scratched. I
yeah.
think that's kind of got to be the situation now that they have too many defensemen. One's got to go, and maybe they're going to keep alternating. But the coach said that since Nemec came back from his injury, he hasn't really been up to speed or like play to the level that he did before injury, and that's why one of the reasons why he gave to scratching him. But I think Hamilton inevitably gets traded and Nemec will be in the lineup. Will he be fantasy relevant? I don't think so. Only if we see a sustained presence on power play 1, which I think Luke Hughes will just be the guy there for that at that point. But if it's not the
Yeah.
case, we'll tell you and we'll let you know. I'm not holding Nemec through this scratching or injury or process.
Yeah, you just don't need to do that. Like you're
No.
better off like rostering a less good player with a lower ceiling because Nemec, like it's just yeah, I don't really think there's anything here.
No.
Okay. Then we have Robert Thomas is out
Mm-hmm.
with a lower body injury. Brayden Chen is taking a spot on line 1, power play 1. Tough. I mean, Thomas has had injury issues in the past. I think he hasn't had the greatest year either. I thought he was going to be really way better than he is. I thought the Blues are going to be better than they are. So yeah, I mean, to me, this isn't like a hugely relevant situation for fantasy. Shen could have decent peripheral categories, but even at that, like it's not even a double on the year. And one guy who I like, who I actually picked up, who's been decent lately, is Jimmy Snuggerud.
Mm-hmm.
We highlighted him in the off season, and like the
Yep.
past 3 games, he's gotten 4, 5, and 4 shots and 2 hits in each of those games. So like that's not. And the main thing is the minutes. So of course that can just go away. Young players, it's always inconsistent. But in the meantime, I kind of like that from the Blues.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas, the injury does not seem to be long term. It was just kind of like a day-to-day thing. So he might miss this game, but he might play the next game. So if you're a Thomas owner, like, don't be too worried about him missing an extended period of time. I just think the Blues are in a situation right now that they know they're not really competing. They're just trying to find their mojo. The only hope for them, I think, is, they go after this Olympic break, maybe they turn it up, but I think it's too far gone into the season right now that they make the playoffs. For Shen, though, I think this really bumps up Shen's value, Brayden Shen, because line 1 power play 1 and him having this banger, archetype to his play makes him very valuable for fantasy, especially in bangers leagues. And I think also he's playing for a trade. Like his name has been circulating in trade in trade talks for a while. I know Toronto was a team that was like significantly interested. I don't know if you can say that, significantly interested, but I know Shen was. But the rumors that I saw was like, if you want Shen, then you got to give Cohen plus, and they don't want to trade Cohen. So I don't know if that's gonna happen at any point, but they might be giving him this deployment so that he can potentially get good looks for a trade. Nonetheless, I'm interested, but Thomas should be back within the next game or two. It feels like.
Is it not Cowan?
Cohen, I don't know. I've seen people say it all over.
Josh says that too, and like I think this is like Voronkov vibes, where it's just like Josh, it's Voronkov, it's Leviosa, like it's.
We hear so many different versions that I don't know which one's the good one anymore.
Yeah, I think it's Cowan, but hey, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. The one thing I'll add to it though is that the Blues have gone on these crazy late season runs in the past. Obviously, that's really tough to depend on. It feels different this year. It feels like there was no hope, but in 2018, it felt like there was even less hope. You had like Pat Maroon scrapping with another guy in practice, so they won. So I mean, they won the Stanley Cup.
You never know what's gonna happen.
You can't count them out, but it's definitely looking quite bleak. All right, and last, this is tough. This is interesting. There's a lot to this one.
Jakey's smiling.
Brayden Point out with a lower body injury. Brandon Hagel maybe taking his spot on power play 1.
So, I mean, listen, we just got some news because if you saw the injury, it did not look good, guys. It was actually, it looked devastating. It looked like something in his knee blew up. So I really feel for Brayden Point because, listen, he didn't have the hottest start to the season. He was a massive buy low. Then he kind of turned it up after a small injury stretch. And now this injury is devastating. The last news I saw was like literally as we're recording this, there was news that dropped from John Cooper. They finally were able to get an assessment on Brayden Point. And they said they avoided the worst case scenario. Like his season is not over. Does that mean his fantasy season is not over? I don't know. I think it's a significant week-to-week situation. Maybe with the Olympic break. I mean, he's not going to the Olympics. That's basically certain at this point, which is devastating for him. I really feel bad for him. He was one of the first names that were penciled into that roster. But is his fantasy season over? I think at this point, if you're a Brayden Point owner, you're just hoping he comes back for like that week 21 quarterfinal week for most fantasy leagues. But I don't want to project. I'm not a doctor. Obviously, I don't know. But knee injuries like that are pretty significant, and they're not going to mess around with that. Tampa's playing for the actual playoffs. So in the meantime, though, I expect Anthony Cirelli to get a bump in minutes as the other prominent center on this roster. And whoever gets that power play 1 spot will be coveted. Is it finally Brandon Hagel? Like we saw Hagel get looks there during the game as Point got hurt. Maybe my signature pick is finally going to come to fruition in January. But listen, we have a big sample size of Tampa having injured guys and then putting Bjorkstrand on there, then putting Nick Paul on there, then putting Gonçalves on there, and Brandon Hagel remaining on power play 2. So I'm definitely not putting my life on the line for this one. But if he does get it, I would expect huge things from Brandon Hagel for the rest of the season. That would be massive for his value. Yeah. But we have enough experience under our belt to know that to take this one with a grain of salt.
So, yeah, I mean, this is like I knew about the Point injury, but I found out about this news while reading it. Hagel was put on power play 1 because it's like I knew about the injury, but I didn't even bother checking like the lines to see what it is. I was like, whatever, another stupid situation where Hagel's gonna get snubbed and not get power play 1. But lo and behold, he's actually listed there. Like he's actually listed as power play 1. So thanks, Banger Management, for telling me about the news. But
it happened earlier in the season too, where they had another injury, and then mid-game they put Hagel there. But then the next game it was like somebody else. So that's why it's still so early that I don't know what the next game is going to look like, and we'll have to wait and see. But if he does get it, we're very optimistic. Either way, you're holding Brandon Hagel, right? It's not like he's a waiver wire guy that you got to pick up and be proactive about it. Like he's already rostered, so you just hope that it's actually going to be him finally, and that you're rewarded.
Yeah, because the thing is like I was like, wow, like now that he's got power play 1, if he does really well with it for like a game, maybe 2, do I sell? And the truth is, I feel like nobody would be willing to buy him at the price that he can actually be. He could be so good. The fact that he's been able to be this amazing, like over the past 2 years without getting power play 1 is wild. Like I say Protus, but like, and I love Protus, but Hagel's been wildly good.
Yeah.
He can replicate a similar pace for the rest of the year. And honestly, it feels like sky could be the limit because anybody attached to Kucherov, it can be good. He plays well with Kucherov. He's with him on line one, which we've seen, and he's done super well. So I think you just like hold and just enjoy because this could be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you temper your expectations, whichever one is the correct pronunciation. You do that. But he's like the final evolution of the Protus archetype, like the guy that's not on the power play, but will get you like 3 shots and basically average a point per game. I think he could be like a 1.1, 1.2 point per game player if he gets power play 1 with like a 0.2, 0.25. But without that, he's like a 0.1, 0.15 power play deployment. And yeah, if you have Hagel, you should be excited. But if you can sell him on the prospect of power play 1 before we know if it's actually confirmed, and you get value for that, then do that. But or else just like wait and see. And he's a guy that's going to produce with the opportunity if he gets it. So no harm in being patient.
Yes. All right. Let's get into the would you rathers for this week.
We had so much news to cover. So
That's a lot.
that was a lot of news. A lot of news. A lot of people hurt. A lot of people coming back from injury. So hopefully you guys bore with us, whatever it is. Kowan, I have no idea.
No, it's definitely not Kowan. 100%. It's not Kowan.
But if you're listening to this episode, we're usually the 3 of us. It's me, Jake, and Josh. And Josh is currently not here. So I come up with 5 would you rathers, 1 of each position: left wing, right wing, center, defense, goalie. And I try to split the difference between Jake and Josh and have them pick different guys. So today we'll see if Jake and I disagree, and I can also kind of predict where Josh is going to go. But let's get right into it. For the first would you rather, talking about the left wing position, would you rather rest of season, and this is for banger leagues, Travis Konecny or Andrei Svechnikov? In our league, these guys got drafted a few picks apart. Josh actually drafted Svechnikov and sniped me, and then I drafted Konecny right after, and then was very happy with Konecny for a long period of time because Svechnikov was like line 4 for like a month and a half.
Yeah. I mean, they've got very similar playoff schedules, so that's kind of, in the that makes things even more difficult. The gut reaction here is Svechnikov just because he's more reliable for the double-double. Yet, I wouldn't be surprised if Konecny ends the season with more points. He did it last year on the average by quite a wide margin. And I mean, I guess I would say that both of them are pretty reliable for PIMS, although Konechny's a bit more spicy with his play sometimes. I mean, my gut reaction was Svechnikov. The more I think about it, though, the more I think that I don't know. This is tough. What did you rate yourself? Really? A 7.5? You're starting off real hot here.
I know.
You know what? I'm gonna go Konecny. The deployment is reliable. You don't have to deal with Rod as like a bit of a headache, and I think that Konecny can get more points, get more power, get more penalty minutes, and then the power play points are probably not going to be as good just because I don't think that I basically think that when Svechnikov is on the power play, there's a higher chance of them scoring, but there's also a chance that he's just not there. So it's too much of a headache, and you're getting a bit more reliability. Konechny's safer. That's my choice. God, that was tough. That was really hard.
I feel like Josh's pick would be Svechnikov for sure.
Because he traded him away, and he's sad he's not on his team anymore.
Yeah.
No, there's going to be sound logic.
But these guys are honestly very close in value. They're a similar archetype. I think the big question here is also, the risk tolerance you have. And like you said, the safe pick, I think, is maybe Konecny, because I don't think Konechny is at risk of being a line 4 power play 2, So, which we know is in the cards for Svechnikov. But when both are playing at their optimal potential, I think Svechnikov is the better player. I think he should edge it out in shots, edge it out in hits, even though both are very comparable. The main thing here, though, is like Carolina has an abysmal power play, but Philly's power play is not anything to write home about either, to be honest. And recently, I feel like the Carolina power play has been better. If you're looking at recent play, Svechnikov has been better overall on the season. Konecny has been has more points. He's been averaging more points, but also like don't forget Svech was horrible for like a month and a half. So this really is like your risk tolerance, I think, because Svech could end up being one of those guys that gets bumped down the lineup. But I'm going Svech if it's me, and I think Josh will
I
also go
totally
Svech.
understand.
Yeah,
I totally understand. It's just like, and that's my gut reaction too. It's just that when it comes down to it, like the highs don't feel that much higher. They are higher, but they're not that much higher, and the lows feel so low.
I think Konecny will average more points.
Yeah,
like it's not crazy, just because we know how inconsistent and volatile the Rod Brendan Moore situation is. So to your point, you may be better than both of us, but it's definitely close. I think we're definitely splitting feathers here.
Yeah, definitely. This is a splitter fitter. What? A feather splitter?
A feather splitter, whatever. Cohen.
Yeah.
Cowan.
All right. Yeah.
Anyways.
Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. Nice. All right. So let's move to the next one.
All right. Talk about the right wing position. This one, honestly, maybe I feel like your gut reaction will be lopsided, but I think it's closer. Or maybe it's actually close and it's not lopsided. I don't know. Those are the possibilities. But we're talking about Mika Zibanejad versus Alex DeBrincat rest of season.
What do you think my gut reaction is, out of curiosity?
I think gut reaction is going to be DeBrincat.
Interesting. I wouldn't say... okay, so for a split second, I was thinking Zibanejad, just because, like, you know, it's been years of Zibanejad being an absolute stud, and DeBrincat's great too, but it's sort of a little less flashy. Perhaps it's the hair. I don't know. You're getting a significantly better playoff schedule with the Rangers. And despite the fact that they have been a mess, Zibanejad's been really on a tear as of late.
He's been one of the hottest players in the NHL for the last month. Like 0.6 power play points per game. Like the Rangers' power play has actually low-key been cooking, but they just can't win games, which is crazy. But he's been hot AF.
Hot AF. Yeah, I also will point out that DeBrincat hasn't had a point per game season, and I feel like this is going to be his first. To be honest, it's funny because like coming into the season, I would have basically given you the exact opposite answer, but for the same logic. So I would have said at the beginning, I would be like, you know, like, and we were lower on Zibanejad because people were so high on him, and for a while, like, he wasn't doing what he's doing now. But anyway, like, my logic now is that I believe in the Red Wings more than I think I believe in the Rangers for the rest of the season. So because of that, I'm simply going to choose DeBrincat. On the season, DeBrincat has been significantly better, yet if you look at the last 2 weeks, it's not even been close because basically Zibanejad has been like the best player in the league. So, yeah, I mean, the last month, you're getting the shots from DeBrincat that are probably going to be significantly better, and I would say that the points are going to average out. So because I think that the Red Wings are going to be a better team, a more reliable team offensively, and probably defensively too, but for this purposes offense, I'm gonna pick DeBrincat here, but it's definitely close, and you're way better than a 7.5 so far.
Do you think though that given the Rangers playoff schedules, week 21 to 23, does that edge it out for you with rathering Zibanejad? Because first of all, I think we don't usually take this into account with.
Do you mean preferring?
What did I say?
You said rathering.
I don't know what I said, but whatever I said, I definitely meant it. But I need to preface and say weeks 21 to 23, obviously Rangers have the best playoff schedule. It's a 4-4-4. They have good off nights. But also in a league that has face-off wins, Zibanejad is truly elite there because right winger getting those face-off wins. I think that would put him over the edge for me, 100% in terms of like over DeBrincat. Just having that category coverage and the positional eligibility is huge. In a league without face-off wins, like I think most leagues out there and how we do these would you rathers usually, for me it's very close. I think if you're going DeBrincat, honestly, I feel like Josh would be like, I want DeBrincat, but for the playoffs, I want Zibanejad, just because of the playoff schedule. So I feel like that's where he would lean. But also, the Rangers are a mess right now, so who knows how good they're going to be come the playoffs, even for that playoff schedule. Like if Panarin's not there,
Yeah.
how good are they truly? So I don't know, but that's a lot of projections. You got to do what you got to do now. I'm going DeBrincat, and I feel like it's just one of those situations where you know you're going to get an extra, at least one shot a game more than Zibanejad, and
Yeah.
Zibanejad is a major sell high right now, whereas DeBrincat, I feel like he's playing at like his average, and he'll hover around a point per game, and but he'll get way more shots than Zibanejad, and the power play is consistently good too. So
Disclaimer: my answer had to do with no face-offs, so
yeah,
that's like
mine as
that's the
well.
way I approached it. So, it's a good one when you know that the face-offs could kind of be a deal breaker, and I
Yeah,
think with face-offs, I would still say DeBrincat, but like
really.
by like a tiny margin,
Hmm.
like a really small margin, because what's cool about the Rangers is that they got a lot of games and are probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot, so that's nice. It's kind of the best of both worlds, Hannah Montana. But it's also just that I just think that DeBrincat's like a really good player on what's going to be a high flying offense the rest of the year, and I also think that if Panarin does get traded, this is without knowing the cap situation offhand right
Hmm.
now. He's done very well with Kane in the past and
He could
DeBrincat.
go
So
to
imagine he
Detroit.
goes to the Red Wings. That would be wild.
The teams
So
I saw that were in the mix for Panarin, and like I don't know the cap situation either. It was just like the main teams that would be in for like a high winger like that would be like it's Carolina, it's Washington, it's Florida. Um, so I think a lot of those destinations are good. Carolina would be terrible.
disastrous.
We
That
saw what
would be
happened to Rantanen
horrible.
last year, so
That would be horrible. That would be like, oh
but he's a
god.
good
All
enough
right.
player that I'd have faith that he could figure it out. But just that Rantanen situation scares you.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I hope he doesn't go there. Honestly.
All
All
right,
right.
let's blow through these next ones. So, talking
Yes.
defensemen, would you rather Roman Josi or Matthew Schaefer rest of season?
All right. So the gut reaction here, I'm going Schaefer.
Okay.
Understandably, why one would choose Josi. It's just I think that with the volatility of having a young guy on your team, of course, it's going to be way more hit or miss. That being said, Josi is playing on a team that's probably not going to be in the playoffs, and he's had pretty much what was described as a chronic injury before the season.
Mhm,
So I would not be surprised if they shut him down at any time. And I also don't think I think that the Islanders have sort of been playing beyond what they're capable of for most of the year. Right now, they are in second in the Metropolitan Division, which is
mhm.
redonkulous. So I don't think that's going to stay. But I think that even if they like regress and end up not being very good, that Schaefer. It's all about developing Schaefer, bringing up his confidence, making him a good player. So there's a lot of things to like for Schaefer, even though I think at times he will be a sell high. I don't love it. The backcats are not what Yossi's are. That being said, like they could simply just shut down Yossi at any time, and because he's
Yep.
injured. So yeah, this is Schaefer for me.
I'm also going Schaefer. I think Josh would also go. I think Josh would be like, I think Yossi's a better player, but he's at risk of getting shut down, so I'm going Schaefer. So
Yeah,
kind of basically similar logic to you, but Nashville, we've been highlighting their players on the Sell High episodes, on the waiver episodes, so they've been kind of hot, and Yossi has been a little bit better as of late. Like he's hovering around 0.65 points per game over the last month. And good shots, good power play, like we know Roman Josi is known for. And Schaefer has definitely slowed down from what he did earlier in the season, even though we've seen like the magical games where he's winning and scoring crazy goals, but yet the fantasy production isn't like as hype as what he's been doing on the ice. But I think it's close enough that I want the projection of what Schaefer can be rest of season, and not the risk of him getting shut down for injury. So also going
yeah,
Schaefer, but I do think you might be happier with Yossi in the immediate future.
yeah, yeah. I think. So you think Josh is going Schaefer here too?
I think Josh is going Schaefer as well.
All right, all right. These are really these are tough. I got to tell you, these
Yeah, okay,
are
okay, I'm happy. Maybe I sold
these
myself
are
short.
not easy. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next.
All right, going goalies. I'm talking about one of the hottest goalies in the league right now, and I'm not talking about their style. I'm talking about their play on the ice. John Gibson, or one of the other hottest goalies on the ice. Not talking about their style, talking about their play on the ice. Joseph Woll of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's a good old Proface over there.
Yes.
I
Gotta
like
make
it.
it clear.
We got two Red Wings in these
I
in these
know.
would you rather so far. It's look, I mean they're first in the division. They're first in the Atlantic. So, I mean, it's definitely worth it to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're probably and I really think Toronto is going to be fighting for a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any like indication on when Stolars is coming back, by the way?
It looks like it's. I mean, it was uncertain for so long, and now it kind of feels like he's getting back on the ice and everything. So I would say like maybe a few weeks.
Right. Right. Cuz I was like I mean I was almost going to say that I think that Woll has like a higher chance of being a solid starter
I mean,
rest
Wall
of
is going to get most
season
of the starts. I think he honestly,
regardless.
Maple
Yeah.
Leafs have been, they've been kind of ramping up a little bit, and big part of that in their wins has been Wall being just a shutdown goalie. Like he's actually been really
Yeah.
good for them on the ice.
Yeah. No, I mean but then Gibson's stats which has been like
Gibson's
insane
been
and
one of the best goalies over the last month, but we know he's a little older and a little squishy.
that's it. I think I'm probably going to go Woll because you have what I think is the better volume play there. I also think that even though Detroit, I would say, has a higher chance of than Toronto to make the playoffs, I would also say that they have a higher chance of being, you know, in a position that they're going to want to rest Gibson come playoff time as opposed to Woll getting more of the starts. So you're right. Actually, that's a very good point. I would think that when Stolars gets back, he was going to split it. But based on what you just said and how good Woll has been, if you look at the numbers, I mean, they're winning with him and they were not winning with Stolars at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
That's just facts. There's a lot of variables. I still think Stolars would get more than an average backup, but it's going to be a 1 and a 2 and not a 1A, 1B. Whereas if Detroit keeps doing super well, I think as the year goes on, they're going to want to rest Gibson for the playoffs, give Talbot a few more starts. Of course, Gibson's still going to play. He'll get the majority, but I think Woll's going to get more starts, slightly less quality, but overall, I think it's a better pick.
I mean, listen, it's hard. If you look at the numbers, it's so hard to go against John Gibson
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know.
Like you're putting everything on the table, and you're like, this guy is winning 80% of his games, is letting in 2 goals a game only, and his save percentage is nuts.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. And also, Gibson was a guy that a lot of people picked up off of waivers like over the last month, being like, listen, Detroit's hot. He's playing well. He's gotten a couple shutouts. Like he's actually been performing really well. But we've seen this before with John Gibson. Like he goes through stretches like this. He goes through stretches where he's awful.
Yeah.
And he also
Yeah,
gets hurt
it's
very
tough.
often. So, which is one of the reasons why it took so long for him to actually get traded away from Anaheim over the years. I think the safe pick here is Woll, and for a lot of the logic as well for what you mentioned is making me choose the same answer. I think Woll he's shown us that he can be a good quality goalie. He's not the healthiest guy either, right? Like we've seen Woll be hurt often as well. So you're picking between two squishy guys. But I like the fact that Toronto's going to be trying to make the playoffs the whole time, and I do think Gibson is just playing way over expectation right now. That I'm a little bit suspicious. But listen, if I had to recommend a guy for a spot start right now, it's probably John Gibson. But I feel like Woll is really up there right now.
I would guess Josh picks Gibson here because he's
Yeah.
owned Stolars in the past, who's done really well for him, and like I mean, he's been real. They were really good as a 1A 1B situation with Stolars pretty much being the 1A. But yeah, I just think that this is sort of Woll's chance to cement himself as a starter. He's a lot younger than Gibson. Also, I mean, he's not super young. He's 27, but I like for a goalie emerging as a starter in the NHL, this is a good opportunity for him, and I just think he'll get more games. Basically, what I said, and just a little bit less good percentages. So. But it's tough. I mean, to go against Gibson, you're right. He's been ridiculous.
I think Detroit's a better team than Toronto this year, so you'd be choosing,
Yeah.
a goalie that's also playing well on a better team. It almost feels like a no-brainer, but alas.
Yeah.
All right, last one.
There you go.
I had to throw a last in there for one episode.
Nice.
Talk about the center position. Now, this might be the least. This is what maybe brings it down to a 7.5. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not giving myself enough flowers. But would you rather rest of the season, Adam Fantilli or Robert Thomas?
I'm curious about your thoughts on this first, because I don't want to. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't want to say anything and sway, and I kind of need some swaying here because I feel
All right.
like there is a right choice, but maybe I'm just totally off base with thinking about it.
So instinct, it feels like, Robert Thomas, the pedigree, the name, the history of production. He's kind of been heating up over the last month before his recent injury. So we're like, okay, what are we getting here? The Blues are also a mess. Fantilli, on the other hand, he was a guy that we said, after like Leo Carlson early in the year has the chance to be, a season-winning pickup. And he was for a long time, then significantly slowed down. And as of late, he hasn't been the same guy that we recommended to pick up. But, Columbus just fired their coach, so there's upside on the horizon. He has a deployment. He has a category coverage that's better than Thomas, but the points just haven't been adding up as of late. So what do you kind of project for rest of season? Which situation is better? Who do you like better as a talent? And who do you think is a safer pick?
Yeah, so basically, like, okay, so I'm glad you said it because I had a very similar thought process there. Thomas's back categories, the peripherals are really not very good. Like, he just does not hit at all. And Fantilli's been surprisingly very solid in that mix. Now, I mean, you've got a guy with top tier deployment on what should be a very fun team rest of the season in Fantilli, and another guy who's the best player with great deployment but bad, peripheral categories pretty much, and inconsistent points so far in Thomas. I mean, like it's very different archetypes. It's a very different situation. So this is very cool to look at. I really want to say Thomas. That was easily my first instinct, and I'm probably going to stick with that only because there is some unknowns that there are definitely unknowns that come with the new coach, which is what they're going to have to deal with now. Columbus. Chances are it's positive, but there is also a higher chance of it being like that Fantilli will get bumped off line one than there was had Evason stayed there. I would say. So I the highs are higher for Fantilli. I'll be the first to say that. But I also think that with the slight chance the Blues do bounce back, Thomas is going to have like a huge role in that. So I think that it's somewhat of a better floor play. I'll just go Thomas here.
So I feel like Josh would have a similar take. I feel like Josh's take would be like, it's Robert Thomas. Like, yeah, hasn't been the same guy, but at the end of the day, you take the guy that you know is probably going to get the more points.
Yeah.
My answer is honestly different. Like, I feel like I'm going Fantilli rest of season.
I get it.
I think I might be the highest guy on the Blue Jackets out of the three of us. So maybe I'm a little bit too biased here, but my take is that I think, Fantilli gets easily more shots, easily more hits. So I'm already getting the category coverage there. The face-off wins are not anything crazy. It's going to be like maybe 3 face-off wins extra for Thomas. The power play is kind of similar, but if I had to bet on one getting more power play points, honestly, it might be close at Fantilli. Like, if Columbus really figures things out under Bowness, then that's more optimistic. Like, do I bet my life that Fantilli gets more points than Thomas? No, but I wouldn't be shocked. I feel like he's definitely regressed significantly over the last month or so. But I think there's a lot of better days ahead for Columbus, and I feel like they have a lot of good pieces around him. And if he really cements that line 1 power play 1, even if he ends up being like line 2 power play 1, I still think there's enough talent on this Columbus team that he can be productive. And I think he's a guy that can drive his own production. So I'm making the bet here. I feel like it may not be popular. I mean, Robert Thomas was a guy that not many people were happy with this season as well. Like, you're getting maybe 0.8 points per game and like a shot and a half, and pretty much nothing else. So I like the foundation of the category coverage from Fantilli and Bangers leagues,
Yeah.
and the upside of the points I feel like is similar. So that's kind of where I'm going. But maybe I'm crazy. Like, Fantilli
No,
definitely has a
it's
lot
not.
less name value than Robert Thomas at this point. Like, Robert Thomas
It.
last year had 1.2 points per game. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's not a crazy take though. Like I mean the Blues were good last year and they're really
Yeah.
not very good this year. So I get it. I still think it's safer, but we'll see. I mean Fantilli's a really interesting buy low, but it
Yeah.
could also it could go pretty badly too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
He gets bumped down, doesn't make it back to line 1, and his value might be significantly different. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, that wraps it up. That was a long one. A lot of news to
It
cover. Very
was.
good would you rather's, I would say. Yeah, it was a lot to unpack. We did it.
Thank God
It's
Josh wasn't here, or else we would have gone on for like 3 hours.
Seriously, there was a lot to say in this one. But thank you to everybody for listening to Week 15 news and updates. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Subscribe on YouTube and give this video a like. All the socials are in the podcast description. And be sure to join the Discord community.
Mm-hmm. And last mention, if you made it this far, do not forget the giveaway. DobberHockey has given us 10 to 15 copies of the mid-season 2026 guide to give away. We've mentioned it earlier in the podcast. Make sure to be entered in the giveaway of the Banger Management community. Follow us on YouTube, join the Discord, and then make sure you go in the giveaway channel in the Discord and write Dobber to be entered. Just got to do it once, and then we'll roll the raffle Sunday evening, January 18th. The cutoff is 7 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you join. And even if you don't win the raffle, the DobberHockey Guide is on sale right now, so go check it out on their website and get yourself a copy if you don't win the raffle.
All right, am I Ernie this time?
I think you're Ernie this time, so you should take it away.
Nice. Ba-da-ba-bam-bam. Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo for Josh.
Nice.